But before we continue, there's a public service announcement that we have to bring to everyone's attention, which Be'ezrat Hashem is going to explain to everyone that's still sleeping, explain to everyone that's still comfortably numb, that they're in danger and don't even know it. Now, if you all remember, a couple of months ago, we had a very big battle against the Satan himself, where an Orthodox shul called Modern Orthodox, it's wanted to bring a Catholic missionary to speak in Boca Raton, Baruch Hashem. With the mercy of Hashem, the lecturer ended up canceling it after a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into fighting against the Satan himself and doing it. Now, one of the main things that the naysayers, if you will, the people that called me crazy, called me a lot of other names that are wonderful and I can't repeat, saying that, in so many words, everyone agreed, the one that were going against it, that we're exaggerating. They're bringing a Catholic missionary to speak at an Orthodox synagogue is not a bad thing. It's if he's not going to be a missionary. If he's going to turn, press the off button, and he's not going to be a missionary. He's going to motivate us. He's going to talk to us about, some other subject. And, completely ignoring the reality of the fact that people will continue their relationship beyond the talk. And just like I got over 1,100 emails to deal with, 1,100 different people to deal with, new people to deal with over the last month, I'm sure you would have gotten just as many. We ignore that. Talk starts, talk ends, no one ever wants to talk to them again. Fine, it's an illusion. Fine. If he's not going to talk about it, he's not going to talk about J.C. Penney. If he's not going to talk about the false testament, if he's not going to talk about all of these different types of idol worshiping that Rahman al-Islam are saying God is three instead of God being one, all these different things that it says in the New Testament, it's saying we're worried too much. And Jews in America and other places in the Western world, but mostly America, are comfortably numb to such an extent that they're supporting idol worship without even knowing it, or sometimes knowing it but not really caring. Because they're saying, listen, institutions like Jewish Federation, AIPAC, and all these different major organizations invest a ton of money, millions and millions of dollars, into Israel. Huge amount of money. They're investing into Israel. So we should, and they're pro-Israel. So all the Zionists, the people that love Israel, some of them are religious, some of them are anti-religious, but let's just throw them all in one basket. All the Zionist mentality are saying, listen, let's work with our brothers that are supporting us anyway. They're investing millions of dollars into Israel. Shrechem, you could worship your God, we'll worship our God, but listen, we're both in it together. We're going to support Israel. And they're in denial of the sad reality that this investment that they're getting from the Christian and Catholic world is not really an investment, but rather a loan. A loan that's going to be called at some point. A loan in a sense that they're not investing into Israel because all of a sudden the New Testament changed and said, listen, go support Israel. No. The New Testament says that only 144,000 Jews are going to survive. The rest of them are going to be Christians. The New Testament says one of their major jobs, one of their major missions as Catholics and Christians is to convert Jews to their idolatry. It's not mentioned once or twice, it's mentioned at least a half a dozen times. So the Jewish people that call themselves observant, call themselves Orthodox, modern Orthodox, or whatever, but at the same time are very Zionistic and love Eretz Yisrael, invest in it, love it, good, nothing wrong, there's nothing wrong with the land. What is wrong is that they're taking this loan thinking that it's just a donation. They're taking the loan from the Christian world thinking that it's just they're just nice people, just wonderful people, without realizing the sad reality. What happened? What's not working? Why is it not working? No, it has nothing to do with the battery. Why is it not working? Okay, let's just go. I'm just going to go. I'm not going to put a title on it. So, is it working now? I think it was working before and people just like to complain, personally, but they always say, like the first few minutes, they mention that it's not working, I can't hear, it's not working, I can't hear, but then when you review the video, everything was there. So, whatever. Baruch Hashem, we have the camera also as a backup. So, okay. We're back to the issue at hand. If it works or it doesn't work, don't tell me anymore because I'm losing my train of thought. And God bless you. So you helped me work on my midot. You helped me work on my midot. Okay. So back to the point. The point here is that a few months ago we had a situation. We were fighting against idolatry. We were fighting against the Chilul Hashem when a so-called Orthodox shul wanted to bring a Catholic missionary to speak at the shul simply because they were acting naive, thinking that he's not going to missionize inside their shul. This is the same attitude that Jews all over the Western world have towards Christianity and Catholicism, where they're welcoming them into major organizations, even letting them run major organizations like AIPAC and the Jewish Federation and other types of organizations that if you look at the board of directors, if you look at the major donators, the major funders of these organizations, they're mainly Catholic and Christians, especially evangelical, which their number one job is to missionize on a day-to-day basis. So everyone is doing this simply because they're naive enough to believe the story that this is pure love. The Christians and the Catholics love the Jews. They feel bad about the Holocaust. They may very well feel bad about the Holocaust. I'm not saying they're all bad people. Let's not misunderstand or misconstrue what I'm saying here. But to say that they're investing into the Jewish world because they want you to remain Jewish is an outright lie. It's an outright lie that's proven day after day. And for all of those that still live in Boca Raton and all over the Western world that are in denial that we are in a silent Gog Magog. We are in a silent world war, a spiritual world war, and also a physical world war. The problem is the physical world war, we're ignoring that it's actually even happening. We're ignoring the fact that Russia is about to press the atomic bomb button on any given day. We're ignoring the fact that if Iran, the minute they have an atomic bomb in their possessions, they're pressing the button without even directing the missile. They're just going to press it, just go where it goes. We're ignoring the fact that North Korea will press the button 6 times, even if they only have 1 bomb. We're ignoring that. We're saying, no, everything's going to be okay, Donald Trump, this Trump and that Trump, and everyone is relying on Trump like he's Mashiach. He's not Mashiach, he's a human being. Seems like a nice guy. He's a human being. At the end of the day, as soon as he became a leader of United States, some people say Israel, As soon as he became a leader of the United States, according to our Torah, he no longer has free choice. We learn this from Sichon, we learn this from Nebuchadnezzar, we learn this from Paro, several different major figures in the Torah that Hashem took away their bchira, their free choice. Hashem is not going to let the fate of the Jewish people be determined by somebody else's free choice. But the point being here is that everyone's relying on him and the U.S. government and the history we have and the mentality of kochi ve'otzem yadi. You know, everything was done with my own power, my own strength, my own hands. I accomplished everything. I made the money. I achieved this. I got the degree. I'm the smart guy. Is continuing to get us into a worse situation than we've ever been in. Anyone that thinks the Holocaust was the worst thing that ever happened to us never read about the Bet HaMikdash or about the end of days. Both, unfortunately, were worse and will be worse. Now, the silent physical war that we have, deny it or not, there's facts. There's facts online. You can see what's happening. You can see how many people are dying every day. You can see how many bombs are being sent everywhere around the world. You can see. Despite all the fake news, there's still some news where you can say, listen, you can't fake the fact that a plane just dropped a bomb and you see the bomb dropping from the plane and exploded an entire town. It's not fake news. You see it. It happened. But the biggest problem is not that. The biggest problem is that we have a spiritual war going on right now, and only very, very few in the Jewish world actually know it's actually happening. And that war is a spiritual war. It's a spiritual Gog Magog that's slowly but surely trying to steal souls from Am Yisrael inside the most religious communities. If you were to tell me, listen, they're going to some small community comprised of 6 people in the middle of Montana, and a missionary went there and converted everyone to Christianity, even though you can't really convert out of Judaism, let's say they think they did. They sent a missionary, they sent one of these Christian or Catholics to the middle of Montana, and he ended up taking over the 6-person shul. All right, let's say, yeah, they don't know that much. There are 6 people. They're in the middle of the world. No one, their best friend is the guy that lives 6 miles away from them and the horse that is in their farm. What do they know about Judaism? They're in the middle of nowhere. Fine, I understand. If you tell me that the missionaries are going inside New York, right next door to the biggest synagogues, if you tell me that the missionaries are going inside the biggest communities in Florida, and they're going and knocking on doors, then you see that you have a bigger problem than you can imagine. And when I said that we have a serious problem in Am Yisrael in the religious world a few months ago, everyone that called me crazy said, no, missionaries are not going to come here. They're not here to missionize. They leave us alone. We leave them alone. We help them. They help us. It's neutral. Okay, neutral. Well, yesterday, I received this at my front door. Very nice, innocent-looking envelope. The camera can see. It says, a message of hope and gladness for the Jewish people. So there's no misunderstanding. This message is for Jewish people. It's not for Christians. It's not for Catholics. It's not for Muslims. It's not for the Chinese that practice Buddhism. It's not for the 80,000 other religions in the world. It's specifically catered for Jews. It also has a very nice stamp. It looks like a stamp. It makes it look like it came from Israel. It didn't come from Israel, by the way. But it makes it look like it came from Israel. It has a little stamp, cute little Israel with a Jewish star on it, and Hebrew word of Israel here. Looks very innocent. And you have a American flag meshed with a Israeli flag. And you have this thing that looks like a stamp as if it was mailed. But in reality, this is not a stamp. This leads you, if you actually have one of these QC scanners, and you read this, it leads you to a very interesting website. But you don't need to go to the website. All you need to do is you need to open the envelope. So you open the envelope, and you have a very nice, innocent-looking Jewish guy. He was nice enough to send me a DVD of his testimony, which has English, Russian, and Hebrew subtitles, just in case. And he's telling me it's a message of hope and gladness, specifically for the Jewish people. And he's Jewish. His name is Tom Cantor. It's kind of strange Jewish name, but... And he sends me this letter, and he tells me he has this company, that he makes a lot of money in it, but this is not the real message. The message is something else. And then he has this book. He tells you how he comes from an Orthodox Jewish family, which I believe is a lie, but that's needless to say. And his grandfather was an Orthodox cantor and rabbi, but he still grew up as a secular Jew, and eventually he leads you to the point, which is Christianity, which is idolatry, which is how he found J.C. Penney, how he found Jesus the Kofel, Jesus the heretic, Jesus the Rasha Merusha that the Gemara mentions in Masechet Sanhedrin, Masechet Gitin, Masechet Sotah, and Masechet Shabbat. There's no end to the GEHINNOM that he's in. But he's mentioning him in a nicer way than I am. So my fellow Jews, this is specific targeting. Not only targeting because the envelope said a message of hope and gladness for the Jewish people, but obviously it was hand-delivered to my house. There's no stamp. There's no address. They're going door to door, specifically targeting people that are Jewish. Obviously, they don't know I speak against Christianity, or else they would probably invest their money somewhere else. But for anyone that gets offended by me making fun of Christianity, you should know it's actually part of our Torah to make fun of Christianity, to make fun of idolatry. In the Gemara, Masechet Megillah, page 25b, Rav Nachman said, all mockery is forbidden except for the mockery of idolatry, which is permitted and is a mitzvah. To make fun of people, call people names, oh, he's this and he's that, not allowed. To make jokes in the middle of Shiur Torah, Rabbi Eliezer ben Orkano says, the beginning of doing such a thing is suffering and the ending is death, in a strange way. Meaning you go to Shiur Torah, but you like to joke around. You'll be one of those guys that makes a joke in the middle of a shiur, takes away everyone's attention, and everyone's serious. They're about to do Teshuva, they're about to keep Shabbat, they're about to change one of their midot. Somebody wants to be funny, throws a joke in the middle of a shiur, lighten it up a little bit, it's really tense. Rabbi Eliezer ben Orkano says, that person, the beginning of his punishment will be suffering in this world, and the end will be strange death. Well, you just made a joke. Yeah, you made a joke, but you ruined the entire shiur. So mockery, very, very thin line. Making jokes, not always allowed. They say you can start a shiur with a joke. It's a good way. Lines up the environment. But be careful when else you use it. Even to use it in the middle of a shiur, you have to be careful with. You can't just throw jokes the whole time and make the Torah look like a joke. It's time and a place to do it. But there is one place specifically where you could always joke around. You could always make fun of. What is it? Idol worship. You could always make fun of J.C. Penney, J.C. the Kofel, Jesus the Womanizer, all these wonderful names that he has. You can make up names. You can write a whole book of names about it. Why? Because it goes against God. Once something goes against God to such an extent, you're allowed, and not only allowed, but it's actually a mitzvah. It's one of the 613 mitzvot to make fun of it. So now, why do I mention this? Is it do I need to prove to people that I'm not crazy. I'm not just some anxious person that's worried about everything. No. Why am I worried? I'm worried because if you go to this Rasha Merusha's website, you see their mission statement. And the mission statement is that they're going to have a summer blitz. And they've already sent over 2 million of these packages in America. You know how much one of these packages costs? Talk about millions of dollars. Over 2 million of them were already sent, and they're going to be sending millions more over the summer as a summer blitz, they call it. Where's it going? To the Muslim neighborhoods? To Chinatown? To the Christian church? Where's it going? It's going to Boca Raton. It's going to Aventura. It's going to all the Jewish neighborhoods all over America. And by the way, they don't care if you're religious or not. They have no care whatsoever if you're religious or not. As a matter of fact, the more religious you are, the more they want you. They're very quick to tell you, hey, look, open Isaiah 53. In the book of Daniel, in the book of this, they tell you all these different books that most yeshiva kids don't learn anyway. And if you're a naive, ignorant person, it's very easy to believe their foolishness. But once you learn Torah for a little bit, you realize that everything is a complete lie. And by the way, at the end of this, we're going to be burning this because that's also a mitzvah. So my dear friends, all over the Western world, all over the world in general, if you're listening to me in Israel, if you're listening to me in America, in Canada, anywhere there's a Jew, I'm here to tell you, you are in danger. You are in danger and you don't even know it. Because as we read in last week's shiur, this is a prophecy we've already had for over 4,000 years. Yaakov Avinu prayed to Hashem. The fact that he was the top of the top. Israel is named after him. The fact that his father was Gdol Ador, Yitzchak Avinu. His grandfather began monotheism. Avraham Avinu began Judaism. All 12 of his sons, tzaddikim gmurim, all prophets. 12 tribes of Israel. Yaakov Avinu cries with big tears to Hashem. Not small tears. Not the half a tear like we're pretending we're crying. He's crying to Hashem because he knows there's a danger. A present danger that's in plain day sight, but nobody wants to pay attention to. And he's trying to give us a little hint 4,000 years later. He's saying, Atzileni na miyad achi miyad Esav, ki yireh anochi oto pen yavo v'yikani em al banim. Rescue me, please, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esav, for I fear him, lest he come and strike me down, mother and children. So as we mentioned last week, there's a superfluous word here, where Yaakov Avinu is telling us something very, very critical. He's praying to Hashem to help him. But he's saying, help me from my brother, help me from Esav. Both are the same thing. His brother is Esav, the only brother he has. And Esav is his brother. So why are you mentioning, help me from my brother, help me from Esav? Just say, help me from my brother, or help me from Esav. Why mention both? And Bet Levi mentions that the reason why is because he's referring to two different things, two different sides of Esav. Esav, that's Edom, we know he's Esav. Why? He's trying to kill us physically. He's Rome. He's the Greeks. He's the Nazis. He's the obvious ones. He's the one that wants to kill the flesh and blood. Wants to destroy it, eliminate it. But my brother, we don't know who he is. My brother, we don't know. He could even be a Jew. He could even be the guy that says he wants to help the Jews by helping invest $300 million into Israel every year. Built plants and kibbutzim and all types of things. He can say that he loves us. He can say that he supports us. He can say that he'll fight for us. He looks like me. He thinks like me. He even speaks the same language as me, in America or in Israel. But Yaakov Avinu is saying, he's not me. And he doesn't want from my interest. He's trapping me. He's trapping me inside my own house. So for everyone that feels safe in their homes in America, in their Jewish neighborhoods in America, know the spiritual war is coming. If it didn't arrive at your house yet, and you didn't get one of these wonderful DVDs full of idol worship, it's coming. And if it's not from this guy, from this clown, it's coming from somebody else. If it's not coming from this church, it's coming from a different church. If it's not outright Christianity or Catholicism, it's a version of it. Messianic Judaism, they call themselves. All types of other forms of Christianity. All of it idol worship. If you're feeling comfortable in your home, start feeling uncomfortable. You and your kids are in danger. You think I'm crazy? I'm in the business, and they sent me one of them. I'm the last guy you send it to. If you pick a list of all the people you send it to, I'm somewhere in the last. You send it to the ignorant person who doesn't know who God is. You send it to the guy who just heard there's a God. You send it to the guy that doesn't really want to keep anything, but if you give him a way out, he'll like you. You send it to the guy, all types of people you send it to. Me, last guy you sent it to. But they brought it straight to my door. Why? They don't care. You're Jewish? We want you. You know, the Army, the U.S. Army used to have the commercial. We want you in, whatever it said. Very encouraging. A lot of people sign up to the Army because of it. Well, the intention of the Catholic and Christian Church is to do the same with the Jewish world. They believe they're doing you a favor. They believe they're saving you. So unless we wake up and realize that we're in present danger, they're going to win. They're going to win one soul after another, after another, after another. And unless we start waking up, the danger will continue getting bigger. So, let's wake up.